The new Toyota Supra. Ever since this first came out, enthusiasts all over the internet have been begging Toyota to give them a manual transmission. Well, it's finally here. My name is Omar and this is the 2023 Toyota Supra with a manual transmission, finally. Now instead of doing a full tour like I usually do because I've already reviewed the Supra before, we're just gonna go for a drive. Getting in here is tough for somebody my size. All right, let's do it. So everyone out there begged and begged Toyota to give the new Supra a manual transmission, and they finally listened. I mean, it's only right that a legendary sports car like this has its own gears that you can shift through. I always say that the perfect formula for a fun sports car is a powerful engine, power going to the back, and a manual transmission. But now that Toyota listened, you guys better show up and buy this. I don't want this to be a thing where everybody online was like, save the manual, and only like 200 of you show up to buy it. So let's talk about this manual transmission. Now, we all know that the new Supra is made by BMW, there's no hiding that. So how about this transmission? Is this just a BMW transmission? Well, yes, kind of, but Toyota did do some work to the workings of the transmission to kind of make it their own. The transmission itself is supplied by a supplier named ZF. So what Toyota's GR engineers did was get rid of the sound deadening to reduce weight. They also worked with ZF on changing up the clutch to make it easier to shift. And then the shifter itself is just a little heavier and clickier. It feels really, really good to shift. It feels like you're shifting with a purpose. Now, this also has Toyota's intelligent manual transmission software, which allows you to rev match when you're downshifting, so it makes it a little bit easier. Now, I know a lot of you true manual driving enthusiasts hate that. You'd rather heel and toe, so don't worry, you can switch it off. You just hop into the sport individual mode and go in there and turn it off from there. But the transmission isn't the only difference between the manual and the automatic. Toyota's GR engineers also did some changes to the traction and the braking to make this an overall cohesive experience. Now, since the Supra is known as a car that loves to slide around all day long, the traction control has been recalibrated to come on earlier if you decide to get a little crazy. Now, other than those tweaks, Toyota has also made changes to the layout of the center console. They moved the gearbox further back so you're not always hitting the climate control every time you shift into reverse, first, third, or fifth. They also moved the drive mode selector over to the left side and moved the iDrive controller further out into the passenger area. That's very thoughtful, so it makes it easier for you to shift without touching anything else, but one part still bothers me. It's the placement of these cup holders. For someone like me with abnormally large arms, my elbow keeps dipping into the cup holder. You can kind of find a seating position and a placement for your arm that makes it worth it, but I just wish there was like a lid here so you don't have to think about it at all. I almost have to lift up my arm to shift, which is a problem you wouldn't have with the automatic. Now, other than that, how is the overall driving experience? It's great. Shifting your own gears is always more fun when driving a car like this. Now, the automatic Supra is also very fun, but you just enjoy it more when you're doing your own work. You have more control over the driving experience, and this transmission itself is great. Like, you can really feel the purpose of each gear. Just slow it down. It's actually really, really easy to drive. The catch point itself is not like too deep in. You can just easily go through it. I feel like compared to the GR Corolla, that's a little bit easier to shift than this one. This one obviously is a ZF transmission made for BMWs, but it's not that difficult at all. You can go through gears very, very easily, especially if you have rev matching turned on. Now, I know a lot of you hate rev matching, but when you're just going for a fast cruise, you're not, racing or anything like that. But even when you're racing, rev matching is great because you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, this is one car where every shift for me has been pretty smooth and really well. This is a really, really well calibrated transmission. I'm just going through gears left and right. Now keep in mind that you can only get the manual transmission on the 3.0 Supra, but it's a no-cost option. So whether you go for the automatic or the manual, the price still starts at $52,500 for the 3.0 Supra. And then power still comes from the 3-liter 6-cylinder turbo from BMW, making 382 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque. The only thing is that it's slightly slower to 60 because we can never shift as fast as an automatic transmission. So the manual Supra is officially quoted to do 60 in 4.2 seconds, while the automatic can do it in 3.9. So if you want to go faster, obviously go for the automatic, but if you want to do your own work, stick with the manual. All right, let's talk about the exterior design. It still looks the same, and of course, that's not a bad thing. I personally think the new Supra is still one of the best looking sports cars out there. To be honest, I personally think it's better looking than most BMWs. This might be more appealing to some people than the new design of the 2023 BMW M2. Now for 2023, besides the addition of the manual transmission, you have some new colors. You get this stratosphere blue color, like on my test model right here. Interestingly enough, this color is actually borrowed from BMW. Their version is called Portimao Blue. You've seen it on the M3, I think the X3M, as well as maybe the M4. There's also a new limited edition trim called A91 MT that starts at $58,345. Now, Toyota will only make 500 units of the A91 and will only produce them for the 2023 model year. And get this, the A91 will only be available with 2 exclusive colors, including Burnout, which is a matte white color, and then you have See You Later Gray, which is written out with the letters CU and then the word later. That color is also borrowed from BMW. Their version is called Sparkling Copper Gray. Now, I did some digging. Apparently, Cu is the, I guess, chemical symbol for copper, so it kind of ties back into BMW in that sense. And then to be a little bit more special, the A91 gets a red Supra badge on the back, which I think looks really dope, and I wish the red Supra badge was available on all manual models so you can tell the difference on the road if somebody's driving a manual or an automatic, but no, it's just available on the A91. But yeah, let me know what you think about the exterior design of the Supra. Do you think it's aging well? Do you think it needs an update? Or is it perfect the way it is? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, let's talk about this interior. It's pretty much the same besides the changes made to the center console to fit in the manual transmission. The only difference is if you go for the A91, you'll get a hazelnut trimmed interior, which actually looks really, really nice and classy for the Supra. But yeah, you still have the same infotainment system, which is BMW's older system. You have wireless Apple CarPlay, you have navigation, all the goodies, but I find myself living in Apple CarPlay more. This system is very simple to use, but you know, Apple CarPlay is always the best. I mean, not a fan of Android Auto. Don't care about Android. I don't have an Android phone. I have an iPhone. That said, unlike other Toyotas where a lot of the driver assist tech is standard, that's not the case for the Supra, since this is mostly a BMW. A lot of the driver assist tech in here is basically optional, including adaptive cruise control and all the other traffic assist alerts that you would want, and those are standard on other Toyota models. Of course, you don't have a 360 surround view, which you don't really need, but it would be nice to have. You just have a regular rear view camera. That said, while this overall interior is really nice, these seats are really, really comfortable, it's still very tight and cramped. If you're a little bit on the taller side, getting in and out because of this frame right here on the top, you can bang your head on it a couple times, so you really have to pay attention when getting in and out. You can't get in and out of the Supra with style and show off. You just bang your head and look kind of stupid. But yeah, quality-wise, design-wise, this is a great place to sit. Everything is driver-centric, and it feels really good. Oh wait, let me show you a few of my quick daily ownership highlights before we get into the final thoughts. Let's go. All right, so let's start off with the cargo space. To pop the trunk, you have to use a button on the inside or use your keys. There's no button right up in the back to pop open the trunk, but let's pop it open and check it out. You have a total of 10.2 cubic feet, so if you plan on living a life while owning a Supra, like going to Costco or something, you can't. You get 2 cup holders and that's it. Usually I end up putting my drink in the passenger seat because it comes in the way of my elbow while I'm shifting. Here are the keys to the Supra. Look familiar? Yeah, they're actually BMW keys with a red stripe and a Toyota logo right on the back. Door close sound from the outside. And the inside, very solid. Charging game-wise, the 3.0 Premium that I'm driving here has a USB-A port and a wireless charger. I'm not sure if the lower trims have a wireless charger. I'm pretty sure they don't, but don't quote me on that. The Premium trim here also gets some heated seat action. You don't get ventilated seats, and heated seats are not available on the lower trims. And you don't have a heated steering wheel either. And of course, we must do an indicator and horn sound test. Indicator first. Nice, pretty BMW. Now for the horn sound. God, that's so bad, so sad. So yeah, the manual Supra is finally here, and I really hope that a lot of people go out and buy this. Toyota is doing some really fun stuff with their GR brand, and they're giving us everything that we could want as car enthusiasts. Besides a new Celica, I would love to see a new Toyota Celica, even if you want to use your hybrid max or iMax hybrid, whatever you call it, powertrain to make it a little bit more compelling. But yeah, for now you have the GR86, the GR Supra, and the GR Corolla. All have a manual transmission, and all of them make Toyota more exciting to drive. Of course, the only one out of those three that is fully made by Toyota is the GR Corolla, since the GR86 is made in collaboration with Subaru, and this is made in collaboration with BMW. That said, I'm not entirely sure which GR model I would get. I really love the GR Supra, but that new GR Corolla is pretty damn exciting. I think I would get the GR Corolla. I am getting that for a review on the road. We've done a track review before, but I want to see how it is to live with on a daily basis, so that should be coming soon. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that. But yeah, not only is the GR Corolla more affordable, but it's a true JDM sports car that is fully made by JDM brand. I'm just happy that Toyota is finally giving us fun to drive cars again. In a world where we are obsessed with SUVs and electric cars, it's nice to see a real sports car like this still being made. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about this. Either way, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is at OmarDrives. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace. One thing you gotta love about the Supra is that it's a perfect daily driver. It's powerful, but it's also very smooth. The suspension is so forgiving, so if you go over a bumpy road like this, your whole life won't fall apart on you. It's great. By the way, I wonder if the next Supra will get the new M2's running gear. That would be pretty cool. I doubt it's gonna happen, but it would be really dope. See you guys later.